I'm Liyana Hassanel, and this is Nightline. The top stories. Malaysia-Turkmenistan relations boosted with new Joint Commission initiative. And Rosmah freed of 17 money laundering tax evasion charges. Good morning. Malaysia and Turkmenistan are committed to further enhancing their cooperation in various sectors, including oil and gas, through the establishment of a joint commission. The decision was reached during a meeting between Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim and Turkmenistan President Sardar Bardi Mohamado in Putrajaya on Thursday. Earlier, Bardi Mohamado, who was on a two-day official visit to Malaysia, was accorded a formal welcoming ceremony at the Perdana Putra complex. Anwar received him upon his arrival at 9 a.m., followed by an inspection of the Guard of Honor. At a joint press conference following bilateral talks between the two leaders, Anwar announced that the new Joint Commission would be pursued by the foreign ministers of both nations next year.
We both extend our commitment to ensure that the level of cooperation is extended to joint commission between two countries, and the foreign ministers will follow through early next year for this joint collaboration.
Both leaders also emphasized the importance of strengthening bilateral cooperation in the energy sector, highlighting the positive and long-standing experience of Petronas in the field. Anwar and Bardi Mohamado also acknowledged the vast potential of the economic partnership between the two countries and expressed their commitment to developing it based on equality and mutual benefit. They also welcomed the mutual willingness to establish the Turkmenistan-Malaysia Business Council. During the meeting, Anwar and Bardi Mohamado also witnessed the exchange of 7 memoranda of understanding and notes on several agreements. Among them was an agreement to partially abolish visa requirements for holders of diplomatic and official passports, as well as agreements on cooperation in the aviation and tourism sectors. In 2023, Turkmenistan was Malaysia's 4th largest trading partner among Central Asian nations, with total trade valued at 48.62 million ringgit. The Kuala Lumpur High Court has acquitted Dato Sri Rosmah Mansor of all 12 charges of money laundering involving 7 million ringgit and 5 charges of failing to declare her income to the Inland Revenue Board. Judge K. Muniandi delivered the decision on Thursday, granting Rosmah's application to quash all her charges. In his judgment, Muniandi said that the charges against the wife of former Prime Minister Dato Sri Najib Tun Razak were illegal and flawed, as they did not comply with provisions in the Criminal Procedure Code. He also stated that the charges against Rosmah failed to specify that she was directly engaged in a transaction involving illegal proceeds and did not clarify the nature of the transaction or how Rosmah was directly involved. Muniandi also said the 5 tax evasion charges brought under the Income Tax Act were premature, as Rosmah's appeal on the tax assessment was still pending before the Special Commissioners of Income Tax. Rosmah was initially charged in the Sessions Court on October 4, 2018, before the case was transferred to the High Court. Her trial began on August 24 last year, but stalled after she filed the application to strike out the charges in September 2023. Meanwhile, Rosmah expressed gratitude for the High Court's decision to fully acquit her, describing it as a special belated birthday gift.
And bukan saja hadiah kepada untuk hari jadi saya, tapi juga hadiah untuk bosku. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sri.
Rosmah still has an appeal pending over her conviction in the 1.25 billion ringgit corruption case related to a hybrid solar energy project for rural schools in Sarawak. In September 2022, she was sentenced to 10 years in jail and fined 970 million ringgit after being found guilty. The hearing is scheduled for March 5th next year at the Court of Appeal. Now, Deputy Prime Minister Dato Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has urged all parties to respect the High Court's decision to acquit Rosmah on Thursday. Zahid, who is also the UMNO president, said he was grateful that Rosmah has been freed of her money laundering and tax evasion charges.
Apabila ianya dilepas dan dibebaskan, tentunya kita harus menghormati keputusan institusi kehakiman yang telah memihak pada Dato Sri Rosmah.
No criminal elements were found during a probe into the now defunct 4 billion ringgit One Bestari Net project. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, said as such, the Deputy Public Prosecutor has informed the anti-graft agency that no charges will be pursued against any party involved in the case. In a statement, the MACC said the Deputy Public Prosecutors have ordered MACC to submit a full report on the findings of its investigations to the Education Ministry, along with its recommendations. The anti-graft agency said among its main recommendations was that the ministry hold negotiations with YTL Communications Sdn Berhad to identify and resolve any pending issues regarding the project contract. The One Bestari Net project, initiated by the Education Ministry in 2011, was launched to provide high-speed internet access to schools and introduce a virtual learning system. The Education Ministry is taking the allegations of pornography videos involving school children very seriously. As such, any complaints or allegations regarding the issue must follow the proper channels managed by the responsible authorities. Minister Fadlina Siddiq said that the ministry was working closely with other relevant authorities to address the issue.
Apa saja yang maknanya dakwaan aduan pornografi ini kita ambil secara serius. Sebab tu kita bekerjasama dengan semua pihak merentas kementerian, baik Kementerian Dalam Negeri, Kementerian Komunikasi, kementerian kita sendiri, termasuk Kementerian Wanita.
On Wednesday, the media reported the alarming ease with which child sexual abuse material is accessed in Malaysia. Once confined to the dark web, such content is now being sold openly on social media platforms for as little as RM1. The Communications Ministry will monitor and take action if any social media platforms fail to enforce their own age restrictions for users. Its Minister Fahmi Fadzil said this follows the introduction of social media platform licensing, which will come into effect on January 1st next year.
Semua platform waktu ini tentukan 13 tahun, bawah 13 tahun tidak boleh buka akaun. Kita nak tengok bagaimana mereka kuat-kuasakan had larangan, had umur tu berdasarkan apa yang mereka sendiri sekarang tetapkan. Kalau gagal dan tidak memberangsangkan balas mereka, tindakan mereka, kita akan pertimbang langkah-langkah tambahan.
Fahmi said this after attending the Perak Economic Outlook 2025 event in Ipoh on Thursday. He added that the government aims to balance policy stability and transparency, ensuring that platforms uphold safety without compromising freedom of expression. He also noted that the government currently has no intention of adopting age restriction legislation similar to that in Australia. In Terengganu, a secondary school principal was charged in the Marang Magistrates Court with 2 counts of child grooming. The accused, 59-year-old Muhammad Tajuddin Mokhtar, however, claimed trial after the charges were read to him before Magistrate Zur Azurin Zulnakufri on Thursday. On the first count, Tajuddin was charged with sexually communicating with a 16-year-old female student in his office at 8:30 a.m. on July 2nd. The father of 4 also allegedly committed non-physical sexual assault by showing the girl explicit pictures on his mobile phone at the same location and time. Both charges were framed under the Sexual Offences Against Children Act. The accused was granted bail of 10,000 ringgit with 2 sureties for both charges and was ordered to report to the nearest police station monthly. The court also fixed January 14th for case mention. Still in Terengganu, an exchange of accusations is believed to have been one of the causes that led to a University Malaysia Terengganu UMT student, being assaulted by 12 others at the university's residential college last Sunday. However, State Police Chief Dato Muhammad Khairi Khairuddin on Thursday stated that the exact issue that triggered the altercation could not be disclosed for certain reasons. According to Khairi, it is believed that the group took turns assaulting the 20-year-old accounting student, including choking, kicking, and beating him with a stick. All 12 suspects aged between 20 and 22 have been remanded for 4 days until Saturday. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for rioting with offensive weapons. Khairi added that the victim is currently being treated in a general ward and is in stable condition. However, his condition is still being monitored.
Sebenarnya laporan doktor kita buat pemeriksaan oleh pihak doktor dan mengesahkan bahawa tiada sebarang kejayaan organ dalaman dan atau patah tulang di kesan. So dia hanya lebam saja.
On Wednesday, UMT stated that it viewed the incident seriously and would fully cooperate with the police in its investigation. It also mentioned that an internal investigation is underway and reminded its students to always adhere to the university's rules and regulations. Meanwhile, Khairi stated that police thwarted an attempt by a drug syndicate to smuggle shabu worth 1.15 million ringgit using a luxury multi-purpose vehicle MPV in Terengganu on Tuesday. The MPV was travelling on the East Coast Expressway 2, LPT2, from Kelantan to the federal capital when it was intercepted by authorities near Kemaman at 4 p.m. The driver, a 29-year-old unemployed man with 2 prior criminal records for drug offences, was arrested. Checks on the vehicle revealed 35 transparent plastic packages containing 36 kilograms of shabu. The drugs are believed to have been smuggled from a neighbouring country for distribution in the Klang Valley. Police also froze over 680,000 ringgit in the suspect's bank account. The suspect has been remanded for 7 days until next Tuesday to assist investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Over in Kelantan, the lorry driver responsible for the collision that resulted in the death of a female trainee from a teacher training institute in Besut, Terengganu on Wednesday morning tested positive for drugs. Gua Musang District Police Chief Superintendent Sik Chun Fu said the 28-year-old man has been remanded for 4 days until Sunday. In the incident on Wednesday, the 11 trainees travelling in 2 Pro2 Azias, 1 Proton X50 and a Proton Saga were on their way back to the institute from Kuala Lumpur when the fatal accident occurred at 6:45 a.m. at kilometre 16 of the trunk road. Preliminary investigations revealed that the lorry driver from Kuala Lipis, Pahang was en route to Gua Musang, Kelantan when he lost control of the vehicle and crashed it into the right side of the 4 vehicles. As a result of the collision, the driver of the Proton X50 sustained head injuries and the front passenger suffered minor injuries. 1 rear passenger was injured while another died at the scene. The driver of one of the Pro2 Azias sustained severe head injuries while 6 other students only sustained minor injuries. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act and the Dangerous Drugs Act. Thai police have arrested a Malaysian national suspected of being the ringleader behind a money laundering syndicate involving over 650 million ringgit. Also arrested was his wife, a Thai citizen, who is believed to be involved in the large-scale money laundering scheme. The 38-year-old man was arrested at the Sadao immigration checkpoint in Songkhla province while entering Thailand last Monday, while his Thai wife was arrested at a separate location on Wednesday. According to a report by Bernama, both suspects admitted to recruiting individuals to set up legal entities, primarily for opening bank accounts, which were then sold to clients in several ASEAN countries. Investigations indicated the operation was a highly organized network involving both Thai and foreign nationals. Malaysia is witnessing growing demand for skilled professionals as companies expand their operations and investments in the country. A report by Randstad Malaysia revealed that 59% of employers plan to expand their teams in 2025, while 31% will focus on maintaining their current headcount. It also stated that 41% of employers expect the most hiring activity in technology, while 26% of respondents plan to invest in hiring professionals for digital transformation and artificial intelligence (AI) roles. However, 56% of employers cited a lack of skilled talent as their top hiring challenge. Many organizations are also grappling with rising salary expectations amid tighter budgets. In response, 52% of companies plan to increase their hiring budgets in 2025, recognizing that candidates with in-demand skills now have greater leverage during negotiations. Malaysia's e-commerce income reached 918.2 billion ringgit in the first 9 months of 2024. According to a report by the Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, the highest surge was recorded in the second quarter of 2024, amounting to 309.8 billion ringgit. In a statement on Thursday, Chief Statistician Dato Sri Rosmah Mansor said the widespread adoption of information and communication technology (ICT) across businesses and households has strengthened Malaysia's position in the global digital landscape, highlighting the country's potential for continued innovation and growth in the digital economy. In 2023, the ICT and e-commerce industry generated 427.7 billion ringgit, 3.9% higher than the 411.6 billion ringgit recorded in the previous year. The ICT and e-commerce sector's contribution to the national economy also rose to 23.5% from 22.9% in 2022. New Zealand has tipped into recession in the third quarter of the year, with the economy suffering an unexpectedly sharp slump that sent the country's currency tumbling and sparked political finger-pointing. The economy has, for months, teetered on the verge of recession, with consumer sentiment weighed by high prices, elevated borrowing costs, and housing crisis. But the latest official data showed on Thursday, gross domestic product fell bigger than expected 1% July to September from the previous 3 months. Analysts had forecast a contraction of 0.2%, marking the second quarterly contraction in a row, after shrinking a revised 1.1% in April to June. Meanwhile, the Conservative coalition government defended its respect for taxpayers' money, as the opposition accused it of feeding a recessionary fire.
Jenayah yang dah mula berhijrah ke online, termasuk dalam media sosial, semakin menjadi-jadi. Boleh ditahan, boleh ditangkap oleh pihak polis. Persundalan tak dibenarkan. Bahan pornografi macam ni tak dibenarkan. Marilah bersama saya, Fahmi Fadil, komunikasi dalam podcast edisi khas Buletin TV3 jam 10 pagi 21 Disember di YouTube dan Facebook Buletin TV3. Kita jumpa nanti.
Liam Lawson joins Verstappen at Red Bull. Sports after this breather.
Hey Jasper, what happened to Clinton?
Dia ada lungs infection, dia tak boleh nak push sangat.
Satu persembahan grup lagu Bila Lagu Sama ni, kita nak cari siapa yang paling cantik untuk kita detailkan lagi adalah cara interpretasi masing-masing lah.
antara pencabaran hebat saya rasa semuanya hebat-hebat. Saya hanya berpegang kepada rezeki.
Kita dengar macam senang tapi sebenarnya susahnya yang ini. Selama yang tidak disebut, perjuangan anda hanya sampai di sini saja.
Hello. Memang sampai ke sudah ke? Saya ucapkan tahniah kepada...
Bagaimana sebenarnya mereka menempuh cabaran ini?
Ini dia Kopi Soda One in a Million.
How do we enjoy this festive season without compromising our financial health?
Remind yourself, do not touch your savings, do not touch your investments.
Once the money goes or, we get ourselves in debt, it's very difficult in order to recover, or actually it takes a long time.
It's true.
When you take money from your EPF, for example, it takes a really mighty long time in order to save all over again.
Only on TV3. Stream now on Tonton.
Kekal cakna, kekal sihat. Hello Doktor merungkai pelbagai persoalan kesihatan anda.
Penyakit kronik, pemakanan, kesihatan mental, semuanya demi kesejahteraan anda.
Setiap minggu bersama tenaga pakar kesihatan terbaik Malaysia, segalanya terjawab dalam Hello Doktor setiap Ahad
5.30 petang di TV3
dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports football, the 2024 AFF ASEAN Championship. The national team must secure a victory against causeway rival Singapore in their final Group A match at the Bukit Jalil National Stadium on Friday to qualify for the semi-finals. A win with a significant goal margin could further boost Harimau Malaya's chances of advancing to the knockout stage, provided Cambodia pulls off an upset against Thailand in the final group match. The support of loyal fans packing the national stadium is seen as an invaluable advantage for head coach Pau Marti Vicente's men, who are looking to replicate their success from the 2022 edition, where Malaysia triumphed 4-1 over Singapore in the final group match to advance to the semi-finals. However, Vicente remains cautious as he emphasized that the Lions hold the upper hand going into the match.
I think it's going to be difficult to make a big win, a big margin. I think it will be very tight game as well, and important is to have the win. I think Singapore has advantage. At the end, they have 2 more points than us. 1 point for them is enough to qualify.
Nevertheless, Vicente, who previously served as the assistant head coach under South Korean Kim Pan-gon during Malaysia's commanding victory over Singapore, acknowledged that the record offered him some confidence ahead of Friday's match. Turning to motorsports, the Formula One. New Zealander Liam Lawson will replace Sergio Perez in the daunting role of teammate to 4-time world champion Max Verstappen at Red Bull next season. The 22-year-old who joined the Red Bull Junior program in 2019 moves into the F1 frontline after just 11 Grand Prix spread over 2 seasons. Lawson made his F1 debut at the 2023 Dutch Grand Prix as a 5-race stand-in for injured Daniel Ricciardo and returned for the last 6 races of the season when the Australian was dropped. The announcement on Thursday came a day after Red Bull and Perez announced they had agreed a termination deal following a weak season by the Mexican. On to tennis, the 2024 Next Gen ATP Finals. Joao Fonseca upset top seed Arthur Fils of France on Wednesday with a 5-set win on the opening day of the tournament in the blue group. World number 20 Fils won the first set in a tie-break 11-9, but Fonseca rallied to win the next 2 sets before Fils managed to force a decider. A single break of Fils' serve gave 18-year-old Fonseca a 3-1 lead, and the Brazilian world number 145 served out to love to complete a 3-4, 4-2, 4-1, 1-4, 4-1 victory in 1 hour and 53 minutes. Fonseca will next meet American lefty Liyana Tian. Earlier, 19-year-old Tian let slip a 2-set lead, but still managed to overcome third seed Jakub Mensik in the other Group B match. Fifth-seeded Tian put on an impressive performance, defeating the Czech 4-3, 4-3, 2-4, 2-4, 4-3 after 2 hours and 21 minutes on court. At least 11 dead after karaoke bar catches fire in Vietnam. The details when Nightline returns.
How do we enjoy this festive season without compromising our financial health?
Remind yourself, do not touch your savings, do not touch your investments.
Once the money goes or, we get ourselves in debt, it's very difficult in order to recover, or actually it takes a long time.
It's true.
When you take money from your EPF, for example, it takes a really mighty long time in order to save all over again.
Only on TV3. Stream now on Tonton.
Lebih segar, lebih dinamik. Laporan komprehensif menghidupkan pagi anda.
Buletin pagi dengan waktu yang baharu. 9.30 pagi setiap hari bermula 1 November.
Apabila datang, ia boleh mengambil alih kesemuanya, tubuh, minda dan hidup anda. Stres bukan sekadar tekanan perasaan tetapi boleh mengancam kesihatan secara keseluruhan. Kenalilah tanda-tanda stres sejak awal dan bincang mengenainya secara terbuka. Dapatkan sokongan moral dan emosi daripada orang di sekeliling anda serta bantuan profesional di saluran yang betul. Saksikan Hello Doktor Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3.
The foreign news. Vietnamese police on Thursday have arrested a man suspected of starting a blaze that killed 11 people following an argument with staff in a Hanoi cafe. In a statement, police said the man had confessed to using gasoline to set Wednesday's fire to the three-story cafe, where people were also singing karaoke style. They added that the incident occurred after he had an argument with one of the staff members. Rescue workers who rushed to the scene brought 7 people out of the building alive, 2 of whom were rushed to hospital, while 11 people were found dead. Some witnesses said the fire was so huge that no one dared to rescue those who were trapped inside the building until the authorities arrived. Authorities have now opened a case as further investigations are underway. Indian officials on Thursday said at least 13 people have died after an Indian naval speedboat lost control and hit a passenger ferry off the coast of Mumbai. Reports said 3 Navy personnel were among the dead, while more than 100 people have been rescued, with search efforts still ongoing. Footage of the incident showed the speedboat circling before smashing into the ferry. Survivors said that ferry staff had not provided any instructions following the collision, leaving passengers to scramble to safety on their own. According to the Indian Navy, there had been an engine malfunction and an inquiry has been ordered to find out what led to the collision. A series of intense Zionist airstrikes struck targets in Yemen on Thursday morning, reportedly killing 9 people in a pre-planned operation. According to local media, 7 people were killed in a strike on the port of Salif, and the others in 2 strikes on the nearby Ras Isa oil facility. Injuries were also reported just down the coast at the port of Hodeidah, while further strikes reportedly targeted 2 power stations near Sana'a, further inland. The Zionist military confirmed the operation, saying it conducted precise strikes in Houthi military targets in Yemen, including ports and energy infrastructure in Sana'a. A French court on Thursday has declared the ex-husband of Giselle Pellico and 50 other co-defendants guilty in a mass rape case that has gripped the world. A panel of 5 judges at the criminal court in the southern French city of Avignon judged 72-year-old Dominique Pellicot guilty of orchestrating the drugging and the raping of his wife for almost a decade, offering up her body to his 50 conspirators. Dominique was sentenced to the maximum 20 years in jail, with prosecutors seeking terms of between 4 and 18 years for other defendants. Meanwhile, almost all the 50 co-defendants were accused of raping Giselle Pellicot. Some of the men acknowledged wrongdoing, while others said they believe she had consented to sex. In all, the court found 47 of the defendants guilty of rape, 2 guilty of attempted rape, and 2 guilty of sexual assault. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as an Iraqi carpenter reshapes traditional art by upcycling hardware and discarded material to create pixelated art pieces. With that, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for watching and be well, Malaysia.